I went to get in my truck the other day. It was at work. I'm at home with it right now to fix the problem I found. But when I walked up to it, I saw antifreeze. Well, first I started the thing up because it was cold. And then I went in the shop and talked to somebody in there about something, I forgot what now. But when I came back out to my truck, there was a puddle under the motor. And that's something you always need to do, is walk, when you're walking up to your truck or car, motorcycle, doesn't matter what, you need to just be aware that this is a machine and it has a lot of different liquids in it that can start leaking at any time. And so I saw the puddle under there dripping, and I immediately crawled up under there, stuck my finger in the edge of the puddle, smelled it, and then I knew that it was not fuel, it was antifreeze. And so I opened the hood and started looking to find out what is leaking on my truck. And as it turns out, the heater hoses all have shut-off valves on them. These heater hoses here there's a shut-off there, and there's another one. I can't see where my camera's pointing, but there's another one down below here someplace. And those are two shut-offs there. There's shut-off for the heater hose here, and another one in that same vicinity. There's four shut-offs because I got two heater hoses. One's a return and one's a going out, and there's two heaters, one in the bunk and one in the cab. Anyway, all of those shut off and it was still leaking. So I thought, well, we've got these hoses up here that are also heater hoses, but they don't go to heat the air inside the cab. They heat the fuel line coming out of the fuel tank going up into the motor. And which is not a necessity living in the middle of the country like I do. It does get extremely cold where this could be a necessity at times, but I normally don't go to work when it's that cold. I don't take this truck out over the road anymore. So the best thing for me to do with this truck, as old as it is and as hard to get to as these hoses are, that are way up above the transmission and over the fuel tank on the driver's side. The hose is leaking over here, but I can't really get an eyeball on where it's leaking. So what I'm going to do is just eliminate that. But for the time being, what you see right here is a pair of pliers that is a hose clamp pliers. Not the kind for putting clamps, these clamps like this on a hose. This is for clamping a hose shut so that it can't, whatever goes through that hose can't go through it. It's stopped. The hose is crimped shut. I borrowed two of these from one of the mechanics at my job, and I'm going to take them off and show you what they are. But anyway, there are two of them in here clamping these water lines shut. And I went and worked for a week like that because the weather was just in such a way it wasn't worth trying to wrestle with fixing this. So let me get those clamps off of there. Those are self-tightening hose clamps. I got the camera glasses on right now. Here's the regular video camera. Let me get the other one off of here. I don't even know where it is. Oh, it's down here. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but it's right here. Get that off of there. These are the clamps I got. Looks like they're Matco tools that I got from the guy at work. This is mine, and it says Pittsburgh, so I guess I got that at Harbor Freight, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with Harbor Freight's quality on an item like this. Some of their stuff is actually the same quality as high dollar pro tools, but this one may not be quite that good. But it's plenty good enough. It's perfectly safe to use this. Clamp that on a hose, an air hose. If you have an air leak and you need to fix something or stop that, you can back a brake off and hang this on an air hose and just do without that brake until you get to a safe place to stop and fix it. Always a good idea. I don't have any of these in my truck. This is a strong reminder I need to get a couple of these and stick them in my truck. They don't cost that much. It can save you a lot of headaches when you spring a leak on a hose. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and remove this plug, or this fitting, this hose fitting, and I'm going to take that off. Then I'm going to run up to Home Depot and match it up and get a plug, just a regular threaded pipe plug that goes in. It's that standard NTP or NPT, whatever they call it, pipe thread. Plumbers know what I'm talking about. They know the right name for it. And yeah, I'm going to go on ahead and just plug that hole. And the other one, which is right here on this oil cooler right here. I took this caliper tool here for measuring, and I adjusted the 2 points of it to where they just barely fit around this smaller fitting up here. I got that tool adjusted where it'll just barely fit around this part of this right here. Then I brought it out. And I brought a couple of samples out of my plumbing supply stash. This is a 1/2 inch pipe fitting here, and this is a 3/4. Well, it's going to be too tight for the 3/4. So the 1/2 inch is going to be it. And these, that's all that you get for graduations, is 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch. They go in 1/4 inch graduations all the way down to 3/8 is the only one where you get into the 1/8 inch graduations. So it's kind of hard to miss. That's a pretty big difference between those two. So I already know I don't have to bring anything with me. I'm going to go and get 2 1/2 inch plugs. I'm not going to be able to do a good job taping this. I'm trying. But I got this one changed down here, and I lost a lot of antifreeze, but it's falling in my drain pan down there. And I'm wrapping some tape. I have no idea if this camera glasses that I got on is getting this. I'm sure it's getting pieces of it. Just to have this plug here ready. And I'm gonna set it right here for now. I'm trying to get this hose cut off of it. There, it's off of there. I already cracked this loose. It did turn for me. This one thing I don't know for sure is this going to pass this manifold? When I turn around there, I hope it does. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be okay here. I also got to change this temperature sensor right here. I'm having issues with that, and I bought one. I got it with me. Well, you don't need to sit here and watch me wrestle with this. I'll just shut this off for now. Okay. 5/8 wrench here to tighten that down. And these are just from the plumbing supply. I tried to go to Home Depot because they're closer, but they didn't even have them. They were out of them. So the plumbing supply is a mile farther down the road and they were actually cheaper. Now that we got that done, we got to top off the antifreeze. And while I'm here at home, I drive in a pretty dusty area, so I'm going to go on ahead and clean my air filter. Now this machine here is another video I got to do. Somebody dropped this off for repairs. This air filter with just compressed air. I'm going to blow the worst of it off the outside, not straight into it, because I don't want to jam it into the paper fibers. I want to blow it off the paper, so I'm going at an angle, blowing the worst of it off of the outside. Then we'll reach inside and blow it backwards. I do work in a pretty dirty area, a lot of dust, a lot of machines turning around and grinding up the gravel and making a lot of dust. Every time a big machine or a truck goes by, you can't hardly see where you're going till the dust settles. If I'm out of my truck, I have to hold my breath so I don't breathe that in when they go by. Now, I'm not going to record this whole thing. This is going to take a little while to do this, probably 10 minutes. In case of my truck, I got a pipe here where air can get trapped because it goes up, over, and then back down again. Air can get trapped in this pipe, and they've got a air bleed on it. I just loosened it with the pliers, and maybe if I get close enough with the thing, you can hear it hiss. Because I already opened it once and shut it back to get it back on camera. I don't know if you heard that or not, but it's hissing. I'm letting the air out of it. I'm out of antifreeze. I'm putting water in. I put 2 gallons of antifreeze in, and all the used antifreeze that came out of it, I put that back. I'm done adding water to this. Open this and see if we get more air out of it. I hear the air coming out. And I'm watching this water go down in here, I think. Why didn't anything come out? Maybe I got too much air trapped in the block. Maybe I got to start it up and circulate it a little bit.